All right, welcome to the Friday Reload number 23. Some of the top headlines are an epic guide to create dramatically better emails, 3 little changes increase revenue by 296%, and unusual benefits from Twitter ads, and of course, much, much more. Now, what we aim to do with the Friday Reload is get you caught up on what you might have missed in the week. So I personally hand curate the best posts, news, and videos of the week. So our first story this week is networking hacks to get and close more deals. Now, this is from Triggercast episode 17 with Brad Spencer. And he's brokered over 40 webinars in the past few months, totaling over $500,000 in sales. Now, he takes us through his webinar brokering process, the networking systems that he's set up, and how to be a quote-unquote productive networker. Now, I highly recommend that you check out the 100% free cheat sheet that Brad created for us and for our listeners. And this is going to cover the exact system that he uses to get and close more deals, as well as specific deal flow target, how to have simplicity and duplication with webinars, making people offers they can't refuse, aka the Godfather effect, networking systems, JV campaign fixes, and how to spice up your offers to JVs. Now, if you want to check that out, head on over to digitaltriggers.io/Brad, and that's where we'll be able to grab that 100% free cheat sheet. Next up in our newsworthy section, not a lot of news this week. Facebook introduced their mobile geo fencing with local awareness ads. So basically what you can do is create ads that are targeting a very local audience. So maybe someone's driving around and they're close by your store. Maybe they live by your store. Basically, you choose a radius, and then you use actions. One of the examples I use here is get directions. Next up, 5 unusual ways to benefit from Twitter ads. So Twitter ads have really come along. I highly recommend if you're doing Facebook ads, Twitter ads is another good place to expand your efforts. So one of the things you can do is you can close uncompleted sales or cart abandons. So you know how frustrating it is with cart abandons using Twitter tailored audiences. You now have a chance to recover those sales by remarketing to buyers who didn't complete a sale. Excuse me. Number 2, you can also improve your newsletter open rate. So you can target subscribers that haven't opened your newsletter or your emails over a period of time, say maybe they didn't open the last 4 newsletters, rather than only those who open your most recent one. Number 3, you can increase website traffic, of course. Number 4, you can generate leads in 2 steps. So increasing website traffic and generating the leads utilizes Twitter cards. And then number 5, you can engage with TV viewers in real time. Next up, we have how to use Pinterest promoted pins. Now, promoted pins run on a cost per click basis. So a campaign has a specific daily budget and duration. You only pay when someone clicks through the pin to your website. You can monitor and adjust your campaign as it runs. Pretty standard advertising platform. If you haven't been invited to use the new tool yet, you can apply. Obviously, approval is not guaranteed or given right away. It's still in its beta testing. All this being said, if your demographic is over 50% or even at least 50% women, you're missing out on a huge opportunity with Pinterest. I mean, Pinterest is about 91% women. So if you're not marketing to women at all, it doesn't really matter. But if you are marketing to women at all, I really don't think there's any better place to go than Pinterest right now. Next story, 2 Google Analytics segments and 1 report to help you better understand your visitors. So fortunately for both of us, Conversion Excel found a handful of segments and reports to help you get started. Don't think of this as a definite list, but rather as a source of inspiration to jumpstart your own thinking around the different ways you can segment your data. Now, when they were writing this article, Peep reminded them that data segmentation is really about trying to answer a question or solve a problem. So in these different segments they've created, the big questions are, why do big spenders spend higher than the average? What internal site search terms lead to the most revenue? And who on Twitter sends the most new traffic? So for the first one, And obviously, you're going to need to check out the post here for more in-depth on how to actually create these segments and reports. The first one is the big spender segment. So if your average order value is 150, this is the group of people who are spending 2 to 3 times as much. The idea with this segment is you want to understand how your high-value customers use the site so you can focus your acquisition efforts to find more customers just like them and motivate existing customers to move into this category as well. Then once you know that, you can dig into your data and also uncover, are they coming from a specific channel? Do they buy higher priced items? Or are they buying in higher quantities? And how frequently are they visiting your site? The next segment is visitors who used internal site search. Now they say that in e-commerce, it's often that customers who use the internal site search convert at a much higher rate and typically spend more than the average visitor. That makes sense to me. Why? Because they are looking for something that they want, or at least that they need, compared to someone who's just browsing. If I go to a site and I type in, black baseball hat, I probably want to buy a black baseball hat. If I go to a site and just kind of start browsing, click through the categories, click through the hats, the intent is not there. So the site search usage reports are going to help you make sense of how the people with high purchase intent are looking for products on your site. Now, this is good because you can see which keywords are getting searched the most and which ones result in the highest order value. Number 3, finding the Twitter users who refer the most traffic and conversions. We all hear that you should get influential people to share your stuff on Twitter. We hear it all the time, right? But without a system in place to actually measure how much new traffic you're getting from an influencer, you're never going to really know who's helping to spread your message. Next up, we have an epic guide to email marketing best practices, which are 20 different tips for dramatically better emails. So they have a beautiful, beautiful design over there, and they cover 20 different tips for better emails. Now, the 20 tips might seem basic, but when you dig into the article, you're going to find awesome examples. And they are also at the core of many of the best email marketing campaigns out there. A lot of the examples actually employ 5 or more of these tips in a single email. So let's check it out here. Let me scroll up a little bit. So it's pretty cool here what they did with the multicolored squares, and then you can click on whichever tip you're interested in and it will instantly take you to it. Or you can just scroll down like normal. So let's cover these 20 different tips. Number 1, create an exclusive club. 2, show that you care. 3, ask for feedback. 4, use social proof. 5, get personal. 6, make conversion a habit. 7, include downloads. 8, tell readers what to do next. 9, keep readers on their toes. 10, use the same subject line every time. 11, use referral codes. 12, use buttons. 13, overwhelm users with value. 14, remind readers what you do. 15, leverage your partner's brand power. 16, make people happy. 17, tap into social trends and current events. 18, say thanks. 19, make an announcement. And 20, gamify a process. I mean, who isn't always looking for a better way to write emails? I would argue that, no matter what you're doing online, you're probably writing emails. Especially if you're listening to this podcast, you're doing any kind of marketing, whether it's just emails for outreach, whether it's cold emails to try to book new clients, or whether you have a list and you're marketing to them, you're probably writing emails. So this beautiful and epic guide is a good way for you to start getting some feedback on specific tips that might appeal to you. Next up, we have a quick hack that improved purchase value 2 times. Now, the simple thing is they changed the way they price their subscription plan. So before it was 5 flights at $5, which was called leisure. Then it was 20 flights, the business, for $15. And then 1 year, also called premium, for $25. And what happens is the service would notify you of every flight status change so that you never miss your flight. Now, what they changed it to is which is interesting. Stay informed when offline. Text messages keep you informed of your flight with no roaming charges. So this one is 5 flights, once again, for $5. The second one, here's the difference. 15 flights plus 5 for free for $15. And then the last one, 1 year unlimited for $25. So one of the big things is by switching from premium to unlimited, excuse me, they got a ton more of people, a lot more people choosing the unlimited version and the middle version. Before, about 80% of people chose the 5 flights. Afterwards, only 38% of people chose the 5 flights. So they had a lot more people choosing the 20 flights. And actually, people were mostly choosing the 1 year. So they went from 11% of people choosing 1 year to 41% of people. Not a bad little trick. And it's worth keeping in mind that sometimes something as simple as your pricing plan can drastically alter your average customer value. Next up, we have mining your online reviews. These are 25 nuggets that you can use to get more local customers. So the better you understand your reviews, the better you're going to understand your customers and your business. That's how you're going to attract more types of customers you want, as well as obviously reviews helping in the SEO rankings and social proof, making more sales, of course. Now, if you don't have many reviews, that's fine. It won't take you very long to review them and mine them for insights. If you don't have any reviews, go check out your competitors' reviews. Don't forget, if you ever don't have something, go check your competitors. If you've never written an email and you're trying to figure out what your email campaign is going to look like, check your competitor. If you're running an online advertising, check your competitor, right? Don't reinvent the wheel here. Now, each of these nuggets are 2-sentence questions or so. So I'm not gonna bore you guys and beat you over the head with these 25 different nuggets. But if local reviews matter to you, check it out. Next up here, we have 11 lovely landing page optimization infographics and slide shares with takeaways. So Conversion XL spent hours searching the web to bring you a hand-curated list of the best, easy-to-digest resources. So there's 5 slide shares and 6 infographics to help you master landing page optimization. They also included an awesome takeaway from each, so you can leave with a checklist of landing page optimization tactics you can try today. Not going to go that deep down the rabbit hole, but let's say some of the better takeaways. Now, make sure you have motivation match. So make sure that you ensure that you match your offer to the intent of your prospects. So are you offering someone an ebook who just searched for download software, for example? Also, you want to make sure there's a clear link between each step of the user's journey. So from the moment they search for a particular keyword to their arrival on your landing page. Also, this is a really cool stat here. Did you know the brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text? Pretty interesting, huh? One of my buddies said, so what is an image really worth 60,000 words? Interesting. So what you should try to do is select the landing page image that communicates what your offer is and what benefit it brings. If you're offering an ebook, show the cover of the ebook. If you're selling a physical product, show that product in context, aka a happy customer using it. Let's see what else we have here that you guys might like. Oh, so loss aversion is big, aka stop losing leads compared to generate more leads. Calls to action that match what your prospect is thinking. So instead of using buy or submit, use get or yes, give me access. Also, they say that the landing page is the stage within a sales funnel that is most vulnerable to abandonment. Give it the attention it deserves, which makes sense. But at the end of the day, I mean, you want to be optimizing your funnel. It's, you know, it goes deeper than just the landing page. There's so many people that don't optimize for cart abandons and they're leaving so much revenue on the table and they have no idea. You also need to provide timely value. So your tone and offer need to match the prospect's stage in the buying cycle and move them closer to making a purchase. Colors can affect landing pages, don't forget. What else? This one's kind of on basic SEO, compressed images for maximum site performance. And then last, we have the human brain has a tendency to compare different options, scenarios, and outcomes in an attempt to make the right decision. You can leverage this tendency by using the psychological technique of anchoring. So a good example of this is listing your original price alongside a discounted price, so prospects have a tangible idea of what they'll save. Our next story is why SEOs need to stop automating email outreach for links. So email outreach is something that the SEO industry is obsessed with automating. Of all the things the writer gets asked about, outreach is probably the most common. He says, stop over automating the process. So instead of looking at how you can create a time-saving email template, look at how you can automate different parts of the process. And then he talks about how you can automate different parts of the process using BuzzSumo, FollowerWonk, and GetResponse. Now, when crafting your email pitch, he has a few different takeaways here. So there's actually 11 in all. So let's go through these. Number one, the email shouldn't be more than 190 words in length. 2, address the person by name. 3, give a very brief intro as who you are and your client is. 4, pitch section should get straight to the point of what the content is and no more than 2 paragraphs. Never send the full content over in the first email pitch. If your pitch is quite complicated, use bullet points to get the main points across in a concise manner. Add an emotional hook so the person will want more information from you. Every pitch should be unique and completely personal to the recipient. And a nice way of doing this is to find out what they've been tweeting about and start a conversation from there. Number 9, make sure you get across how publishing your content will be mutual beneficial. I might argue that this is the most important point. Number 10, the email subject line should be no longer than 55 characters in length and also include the content idea within it. And then 11, get straight to the point. Don't use buzzwords. Next up, we have a cool little study here. So millennials are twice as likely to purchase products they share about. So in a new study by Share This, they report that millennials are far more likely than the general population to share content on social networks and to click and purchase shared content. So I feel like it'd be pretty interesting to see, if you kind of fought for shares more, how much that would affect your sales. If you really fought to get people to share your content or more so your products, how well would that work on a sales perspective? I don't know. It's interesting. Next up, we have 25 creative content promotion strategies. This is a massive post. So once again, not going to summarize it. 25 seems to be the magical number this week. Everything's a 20 or 25, huh? But if you are in content creation, content promotion, check this out. If you're not doing any content marketing, don't worry about it. Don't waste your time. It's a massive blog post that you don't need to fill your brain up with unless this is something that you're already doing. Next, we have how 3 little changes increased average revenue per account by 296%. This is another one about pricing plans and how important they can be. So the first thing was they stopped advertising the free plan. And their takeaway was do not underestimate the consequence of a free plan sitting next to your paying plan, especially if you're targeting companies. Number 2, they changed it from users to number of alerts. So unless you are an everyone or nobody type of tool, like support software, a productivity tool that only really has value if everyone's using it, you should select your key feature as first criteria when setting the price. And number 3, they unbundled features. So takeaway, understand how your customers are using your product in order to determine how to price it. Look at consumption patterns, use cases among different customer segments, and when all else fails, ask them. So what they did is, here they have this final image. They brought the basic plan all the way to the bottom. They have it compared on 3 alerts, 5 alerts, and 10 alerts. And then they unbundled analytics and data export. So pretty smart. I mean, they increased their average revenue per account by 300%. So they did something right, huh? Next up, tool time. There is a new free course on how to start a startup. So Y Combinator has a how to start a startup, I believe in conjunction with Stanford, as an online course. They say this is everything we know about how to start a startup for free from some of the world's experts. It's the unofficial version of the Y Combinator and Sam Altman Stanford course. That being said, it has all the videos and giveaways and give outs. So hey, if you've been thinking about starting a startup, maybe you're younger or you just don't feel like plunking down a bunch of money, here is a put together and awesome resource that you can check out. So do it. Next up in our tool time, we have funneloptimizer.io. So what this does is make sure that no one signs up for your newsletter twice. He uses the example of visits the website, sees newsletter sign up, subscribes to newsletter, comes back to read more, sees email course sign up. So it's kind of like what Opt-in Monster should be doing, I would argue, basically being better at rotating your pop-ups. But I'm sure he has a few different plans for it, and you can read more about why the founder created it in the link on the blog, digitaltriggers.io/Friday-reload-23. There should be a link in your iTunes. However you're listening to the podcast, there should be a link in the description. Or if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a link below the video. Next, we have how to target your YouTube ads infographic. So he takes you through the targeting of the YouTube ads. So research keywords, website remarketing, video remarketing, placements, interests, topics, be patient, and customers equal money. Lastly, here we have the honorable mentions. So how do you develop awesome content from a boring business? This comes from Growth Hackers, but I believe it was actually on Single Grain. Yep. And this is one of those I feel like that a lot of people are really going to like, because so often you hear, oh, my business is boring. I can't spice it up. I can't make it more fun. I can't make it more interesting. Understandable. So this is how you can go about that process. Then we have how to optimize your content marketing strategy for more leads. We also have a marketing funnel case study, content, conversation, and conversion. And this comes to us from the coveted consultant who we should be having on the podcast here soon. And they say this article is for someone who is a consultant offering free consultations. So pretty cool. I really like what this guy's doing. We also have how to drive more website traffic with Facebook ads. So really basic title by John Loomer, but I like the way he sets up his targeting. He does very good on excluding people, which is just as important as making sure that you're, you want to have your targeting set up right, and he promotes it to his fans and such, but you also want to exclude people that have already seen whatever it is that you're promoting. And then lastly, we have how to maximize your PPC budget from AdStage. So that will be all for today. Adios. I hope that you guys are crushing your Friday. I know I had a very busy week this week. Coming back from Vegas last Friday really spilled over into the weekend. Had to get some things done on Saturday, and had to hang out with the girlfriend a little bit before she got too mad at me. And then I know this week, man, I've just been cranking. We do have something we launched as an internal launch next week. I plan to be bringing it to you guys. I really hope that you guys like it. I'm excited to bring it to you guys. But in the meantime, hey, keep enjoying these podcasts. We'll see you again on Tuesday, as always. And feel free to reach out to me at digtrig, DIGTRIG. And let me know what you thought of the Friday Reload, what you hope to see in the next one. You know, if there's anyone you'd like for us to have on for the Trigger Casts, how we can help you, anything. Just reach out and leave some feedback. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. So everyone, have a good one and enjoy your weekend.